Horror. Terror. Yeah, we sure do like to scare ourselves, don't we? We got horror movies, we got horror books, and of course, video games. And while movies can take you on a directed ride through various frightening situations, games are uniquely personal in the way that we interact with them. Yeah, you might be playing as someone other than yourself, but the tension and unease that you feel isn't purely vicarious. A good scary game can make you forget that you're not the one being hunted. Or haunted.
So I've always been a pretty big proponent of virtual reality tech. Few gaming innovations actually have the potential to bring a truly new element of immersion to video games. Now, decry it as a fad all you want, but there's a reason why it keeps coming back again and again.
And yes, I am especially interested in VR as a bladder quick release function. Because I'm gonna pee myself!
So today I'm going to be taking a quick look at a few choice VR horror games that I had lying around. All of these games are on PSVR, because Vive is unreasonable.
Will they have the desired effect? Well, there's only one way to find out! Let's do this!
So I've really enjoyed the Paranormal Activity movies, for the most part. I haven't seen the most recent 2 or so, but by and large I think they're well put together slow burn popcorn horror flicks. So when I saw that they had made a VR horror game in that universe, I was intrigued. Well, as intrigued as you can be for that kind of movie game, but you know. The question is though, what kind of game can you make out of a movie series that mostly revolves around watching pre-recorded spooky footage?
Well, about that.
You play as an initially nameless pair of hands as you explore a haunted house to find out what happened to a family that done got spooked up good. The gameplay is your standard horror adventure formula. You explore the rooms, various set pieces, and you find artifacts, letters, batteries for your flashlight. Game designers. Flashlights generally last for hours, not 0.8 seconds per D-cell. I get that you're trying to create tension, I do, but having my flashlight cut out for the 70 squintillionth time is more likely to make me want to haunt your ass. Sincerely, everyone. Okay, so initially I played this game with my DualShock 4 controller, and let me tell you here and now, this is known as a mistake. The control scheme here requires that you fiddle with swapping between your two hands. Like, you can only have one hand out at a time, which is honestly something I'd probably get looked at, and for some reason in this mode my hands just kept glitching out all the time. Trying to get the damn thing to cooperate not only sucked all the fun out of the experience, but by the end of it, I had to have myself a little lie down.
You see something down there, Chief?
No, I just think I'm gonna barf.
The next day, I decided to break out the PlayStation Move neon sex toy setup, and sweet mother of clapping ass cheeks was that an improvement. The controls were more fluid, I could use both hands at the same time, as I've become accustomed to and rather fond of, and I don't know what it was about having both hands working independently of one another, but I felt zero nausea while playing.
I'm giving you a no-honk guarantee.
It was a Halloween miracle, and I was having fun. Like, a lot of fun. Well, okay, more fun than before. I explored the house, checking drawers for secrets, finding the artifacts, and learning the story of the family. The simple change of how the damn thing controlled turned a tedious vom slog into a rather enjoyable little haunted house game. The whole game can be beaten in around 2 hours or less, depending on how dense you are. The puzzles aren't particularly taxing, which is a bit of a shame. But honestly, I kinda want to go back and play it again and see if I can get the alternate ending.
And you know, Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul is way better than I ever expected it to be.
And this is where I'm supposed to say, and you should give it a try.
Just do yourself a favor and join the Lollipop Guild before you do.
Dumbass.
So I've heard nothing but good things about the Until Dawn series. I have the original and the 2 VR spin-offs, Inpatient and Rush of Blood. And for this year's video I decided that I was only going to review one of those 2, and one of them was a haunted roller coaster game, so that kind of won out.
And trust your fucking intuition, kids, because wow! Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you enjoy fun? Do you like joy? because fuck my eye sockets, this game was an absolute blast to play. Just before I started to play A Rush of Blood, my brother-in-law and I were discussing how we wish more of these things would take the form of classic light gun games, you know, something like Area 51 or House of the Dead. I gotta tell ya, I kind of feel like my wish was granted. Aesthetically, it's got that demonic carnival vibe throughout. It's as if they took Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen and turned it into a full-on roller coaster, but also made it into a crazy shooting gallery?
As I asked before, do you like fun?
This time around, I opted for twin popsicle time right off the bat. And if I were a good reviewer, I'd play it with a gamepad and get right back to you. But since I'm a terrible human being, we'll just have to assume that it's garbage. Because let me tell ya, the controls with the PlayStation Move were damn near perfect. To start, you have 2 guns out at any given time. They give you a couple of pea shooters, which are then quickly replaced with a standard set of pistols with the Rush of Blood branding on the side. Awesome. You can then find even more guns by shooting the corresponding boxes that you find throughout each stage. There's small shotguns, machine guns, goddamn magnums, and flare launchers. You can grab one per hand and even mix and match depending on what's thrown at you. If you run out of ammo, you revert to the pistols. The firing feels so goddamn good. There were a couple of times where I had to resync the controllers, but it really didn't take me out of the experience. On top of all the shooting, you actually have to physically dodge obstacles as you move along the track. You got wooden planks that jut out, saw blades that come at you, acid spills, pig carcasses. Then they combine the dodging, shooting, reloading, shooting collectibles. It's fun, frenetic, and not once did it become boring. And while it adheres to the haunted carnival theme, each stage is unique and varied in not just how it looks, but how it plays. These levels are well designed and feel appropriately huge. And on top of all that, there are alternate pathways you can choose by switching the tracks. Motherfucker, that's replay value. And on top of all that, the game has boss fights. Most levels culminate in some sort of encounter, and these do even more to mix things up. And while a couple of them gave me a little bit of trouble here and there, dying really wasn't much of a setback and simply made me want to get back in there and do better. Okay, so, negatives. Well, first I'd say it's not exactly scary, not that it needs to be. It's horror themed, and that's kind of exactly what I would want out of an arcadey game like this, so never mind, not a negative. Oh, one oddity I did experience, and this may just be a result of my camera placement, but every once in a while the game would pop to the pause screen for seemingly no reason. It's not exactly a big problem, but at least worth noting. Oh, and there was that one time where my cat jumped up and fumbled the camera, which made the whole world go topsy-turvy. But I can't exactly blame the game for that.
You know what you did. Oh, I'm sorry, I know.
I had no idea that I would enjoy this game as much as I did. It's just about 2 hours long, which seems like the perfect length for this sort of experience. And honestly, after I'm done with this review, I'm gonna go back and play this game on as many difficulties as I can. And I can think of at least 2 friends of mine who will get a massive kick out of this thing. You know who you are.
Play this. This is VR done right. Man, this video has been too positive so far. Isn't there anything terrible I can play? Yes. Yes, this will do nicely.
Horror Adventure VR is a game? It's a PlayStation 4 game? Well, I mean, it's sold by Sony on the PlayStation Network, so someone must think it's a game? And I'm not trying to minimize what games can and can't be as an art form, but still, I ask the question, this is a game? This is being sold? Why did I pay for this? Because you thought it would be shitty.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was gonna be this shitty.
This game is a lie. There's no horror. There's sure as hell no goddamn adventure here. I mean, yeah, it's in VR, but even being generous, 1 out of 3 is a failing grade. Like in our Paranormal Activity game, you walk through a haunted place. I mean, yeah, it looks like a house, but it makes no sense. But instead of solving puzzles or running from crazy people and dark spirits, you wander until you trigger an event, and then you trigger another event, and then you find the exit. And that's basically it. Would you like a nice controller too much? Absolutely nothing in this game can harm you. There are no failure states added by the, oh god, it feels weird to call them designers. Let's go with perpetrators. And while you can't technically fail or die, you sure can trigger bugs that make it impossible to continue. Like here, where I found out that walking towards this banister caused me to fall straight through the floor. I eventually did make it upstairs, and after thinking I was done exploring that portion of the stage, I decided to take the banister shortcut all the way back down to see if there was anything that I missed. But on once again trying to climb the stairs, it turns out that I was no longer able to get past the top step, no matter how hard I tried. How silly of me. Walls don't connect to themselves, the geometry is completely fucked. In some cases, it seems like they were too lazy to add a ceiling. I found this whole area that I could explore but probably wasn't supposed to. I am truly flabbergasted that I never actually clipped out of bounds, but probably just because I wasn't trying hard enough. I mean, look at this candle! Look at it! Would you, as a human being with dignity and self-respect, let that go out in your ostensibly finished game product that you're charging money for? What are these guys doing? Why is this person swinging from a ceiling fan by a stick? Why is she now moving away from her swinging stick? What the hell is going on? Look at this goddamn candle! Okay, so it may sound like I'm getting worked up, and while that's partially true, I'm not actually angry. Maybe when I think of all the Coke Zeros I could have bought with the money that I paid for this pile, but not at the game itself. I'm not even gonna do that I'm not mad, I'm disappointed thing, because while you should not play this game, you should not pay for this game, I'd be lying if I said that its sheer mind-blowing ineptitude didn't at least tickle me a little bit. It's the worst kind of failure and likely just an asset flip, but god damn it, I was fascinated by just how broken it is. It's the kind of failure that makes you want to interview the people who made it, to study them in a clinical setting and see what makes them tick, before they answer for their crimes. Oh, and just to cap it all off, how does it end?
You know, I'm not sure what I expected. Is it possible for an ending to not be disappointing by being this disappointing? Well, that's it for today, my friends, but October isn't over, so grab your fall beverage of choice, slap in your favorite scary movie or video game, and remember, have a happy Halloween, and stay spoopy.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this year's Halloween video. Took a little bit longer than I expected, but I got there in the end. Got a couple more things coming very, very soon. And as always, if you like this video, like and subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter at MattTheLast, and this year, patreon.com/MattTheLast if you feel like being extra awesome. Appreciate ya. Have a great one.